Because prequels and spin-offs are always a safe bet, right? The TV show Caprica tells the story before Battlestar Galactica. Stay tuned to hear what we thought. Welcome back to Cheers and Jeers, where we review some of the best and the worst of film and TV over the past few decades. Before we get into this review, please take a moment, smash that like button, please subscribe, share this video if you like what you see. It really helps out this channel as we continue to try to grow. Just a word of caution, we may engage in a few mild spoilers, but most of the shows we're talking about are many years old, so it's all fair game. Consider yourself warned. Caprica aired in the year 2010 on the Sci-Fi Channel. It ran for a single season of 19 episodes. It was filmed in Vancouver, as was the original Battlestar Galactica. It starred Eric Stolz as Daniel Greystone and Esai Morales as Joseph Adama in two of the lead roles. Caprica was produced by Ronald D. Moore, the same person who was behind Battlestar Galactica, who had his roots in Star Trek, The Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine beforehand, and you can see some of the same spirit of science fiction playing out in a lot of his productions. Very good character development, character-driven stories in a lot of the works that he does, and that carries over into Caprica. The premise of this show, it is about 6 decades before the events of Battlestar Galactica. The colonies have not fallen yet, and you're seeing a civilization at its peak of technological advancement and hubris when it comes to that technology. The artificial intelligence that would later become the Cylons and the robotics technology that also goes into that are both just being developed, and there is very little sign of anybody having the least bit of apprehension about the technology. It's seen as a brave new world and an exciting development that people are exploring. At the same time, there's a terrorist bombing that brings the two families, the Adama family and the Greystone family, together, and there's a loss of life, and we're watching as these families deal with that, and as Daniel Greystone, who is the owner of one of the technology companies that is developing this artificial intelligence technology, we're watching as he perfects his technology for these android robots, and there's also a virtual reality device that people are using, not unlike the modern day Oculus Rift. They wear glasses, they go into a virtual world. They don't quite call it meta, but it's a very similar idea, and people are getting lost in this virtual world, distracted from their everyday life, and it strikes a very different tone than Galactica did. Galactica was very, very dark, very centered on a lot of battle and war scenes, and Caprica is more about interpersonal drama. It's a science fiction version of the TV show Dallas, if you will. I'd say it was the backstory. It tried to be the backstory that fans were looking for, and to a large degree it succeeded. It gave us a little bit of history, expanded the world building and the universe a little bit as far as Galactica goes. However, the story did start to meander a little bit. It didn't quite get the fan following it was looking for, hence its cancellation after one season. A few interesting things about it. It did have a degree of social commentary with regards to social media, which, considering the year it came out in 2010, is actually pretty impressive, because in the real world in 2010, I think a lot of people were still pretty starry-eyed about social media. The companies like Facebook and Twitter had only been out for a few years yet. The dark side, the addictive tendencies of those technologies, and the road they would eventually go down when it comes to censorship and trying to control the narrative and the opinions people express, hadn't quite come to fruition yet. This was now 11 years ago, and yet this show was already portraying social media in a very cautious light, and I think that's interesting. And another thing that really stuck out about the show was everybody smoked. It's a different world, a different civilization, and apparently in that world, everybody smokes cigarettes. I think the producers, at least Moore probably, Ronald Moore, was a little annoyed with, at the time, the culture in Hollywood was frowning upon the portrayal of smoking in TV and film. And I think he was trying to push back on that a little bit by having everybody have a cigarette. We get an interesting little cameo, a little bit more than cameo, guest starring role with James Marsters who played Spike on Buffy. He comes in as a semi-recurring character. It's nice to see a familiar face again. The production value of the show was pretty good. The special effects, the animation, particularly with the robots, was done pretty well. Acting was all good. I would have liked to see the show continue a little bit more. It did end on a cliffhanger, so we never got resolution there, which is, I hold that as a strike against productions. So I don't give it a complete, solid, positive review because of that. But overall, it's worth watching, particularly if you're a fan of Galactica, and you've seen a few of the other spin-offs, the Blood and Chrome, and this one adds a little bit too. So check it out. You can stream it on Bravo now. It's bravotv.com is where you can find it. At final analysis, Battlestar Galactica is just a hard act to follow. I mean, but on its own, I'd rate this show as decent. So check it out, and let us know what you think. You can leave your opinions in the comments below. If I missed anything about the show you think is worth pointing out, let us know. And as usual, like, subscribe, and share this video if you want to help out the channel. If you appreciate what you saw, it'd be greatly appreciated. So until next time, keep cheering and jeering.